Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Shopify Cheat Sheet series. In the last video, we have covered the basics of Liquid and how it works inside Shopify themes. Today, we are moving on to Liquid tags, the building blocks that control logic and flow in your theme. Let's dive right in. This is the documentation for Shopify Cheat Sheet. In the last video, we have discussed about some basics on Shopify Liquid. Today, we will discuss about tags. Basically, Shopify tags depend on how we are using it. We have some conditional tags, variable tags, HTML, iteration, syntax, and theme tags. As you can see in these documentations. What is conditional tags? To check some values have either boolean or string or array values, or is it blank or not, we will use the conditional tags. So basically, we are using the if and unless. We have another type of conditional tags, which is case. It's basically work like a switch in JavaScript. We will discuss more when we will start developing our own theme. In if conditions, we can check if a product title is equals to awesome shoes. Then we will render this text in the front end. For if, we also have an else if, and if we start rendering with if, we have to close it using the end if. You can see we have if in here, else if. For JavaScript, we will write else space if, else if. For Shopify Liquid, we don't have any e in else if. And for case, we will check like if a case is something like handle in here. The handle can be different. It can be cake or cookies or biscuits or anything like that. So we can check if it is a cake, then we will render this. If it is cookies, then it is this. If there is something else like a default value, that can be this. And at last we have the unless. So it's basically opposite of if. We have some variable tags. For variable, we are using assign, capture, increment, and decrement. For assign, basically in JavaScript, we use let, var, const, something like that to assign a variable. In Shopify Liquid, we will use sign. That's how you can assign a variable. You need the variable name and the variable value. For capture, capture is basically more like assign. But if you using something that is reusable, you can use it in many places, then you can use capture for the same liquid file. We have increment and decrement to increment a certain value or decrement a certain value. You can see that in here. For HTML tags, we have two types of HTML tags. One is form. Form basically to render a form which is given by Shopify. We will check what type of form we have on our fourth video when we are discussing about the objects. And we have another thing, style. Basically in the style tags, we will render our CSS in the liquid file. We have iteration tags in Shopify, which is for, else, break, continue, cycle, paginate, and table row. So for is basically looping through an array. In here you can see we have some collection.products. It's basically coming from an object called collection. We have an else like the iterations to close it. If it's this or else this. We have break to stop the code on certain conditions. We have continue, opposite of break in here. We have cycle, so that we can just looping from one values, then the next one, then the next one. In here you can see loops through a group of strings and output them in the order that they were passed as parameters. Each time cycle is called, the next string that was passed as a parameter is output. You can see for this one we are returning 1 2 3, and for the next one the first value is 1, that means it will return the 1. We have paginate. Paginate is basically used in the collection page or search page to create a pagination on those pages. If we have like 100 products, but we want to show 20 products per page, so the page size will be 20, and we will paginate by 20. So we have 5 pages on the pagination, so that we can redirect 1 to 5. And table row basically generates a table, an HTML table tag, and it works like a for loop. As you can see, product and product in collection. So the collection dot products, if I have 5 or 6 products and I want to show everyone in a table, the title in the table, then this will be our return. We have syntax tags. We have comment, echo, liquid, and raw. So to comment in JavaScript, we use double backslash. For liquid, we have to start our comment using this syntax, and we have to end it using the end comment syntax. For echo, basically it's a console log. For JavaScript, using echo, we can print anything we want. And the liquid, so basically we can assign something, we can capture something, we can increment or decrement a value. But if we have something like we have to check some cases, or we have to check some product tags or something like those, if we need to check enough conditions, we can declare the liquid, and we can check all the conditions in here. As you can see, we are checking the product type based on health, love, and the default value. So we can rendering this whole thing in the liquid. Otherwise, we have to write it like the starting syntax and the ending syntax in here. Same for this, starting syntax in here and the ending syntax in here. We have to write those starting and ending syntax before every line and after the line as well. So liquid helps us to write all the conditions under one syntax. And we have raw to return something as it is. Then we have some theme tags. We have include, JavaScript, layout, render, sections, and style sheet. So style sheet basically same as style in HTML tags. We already seen. If you open these things, it basically CSS styles in here. We have sections. It basically a group of some section. You can see in here renders a section group, and we can have some section under the sections. We have section tag, basically some liquid file we want to render as a section. We will see more in the theme development part. If you want to render any snippet, basically snippet means any reusable component we want to create so that we can use it over and over. We need to use render to render a snippet from the snippets folder of a theme. We have layout. We have two types of layout in theme development. One is theme.liquid, another one is password.liquid. Layout is basically the HTML structure, the basic HTML structure for all the pages, all the collections and product pages. We will just render the content in the main body. And we have JavaScript. Though theme tags have a JavaScript syntax to render all the JavaScript inside it, but we will use the script tag, the basic JavaScript script tag, to render our JavaScript. And we have include. Include, you can use it to render any snippet or a section. In here you can see, if you want to direct use a snippet as it is, we can customize snippet. But if I want to use a snippet as it is, then we will use include. Using include, we can include any section or any snippets in anywhere we want. And that's it for liquid text. Now you know how to use text to add logic, control flow, and make your Shopify themes more dynamics. In the next video, we will cover filters, which will help you transform and format your data inside Liquid. If this is helpful for you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check the cheat sheet. Link in the description. See you in the next one. Thank you everyone.